What is up, YouTube and fellow fans of Pokemon? This is Twinkie the Trapinch, bringing you another episode of Moveset Mondays. If you please leave a like, subscribe, and comment, that would be fantastic. And if you could follow me in the Twitter, which is the tag thingy below my face, that would be fantastic. And today, for the Moveset video, I am going to be doing Volbeat. Volbeat is a Danish heavy metal band. Okay, no, but seriously, Volbeat is actually a bug flying type, which is in PU, so it's in the tier below NU. So I was kind of like meh when I got a request to do this Pokemon in particular. But then when I looked at it, it has a lot more going for it than I had originally thought. Now it's kind of lacking in the stat department. As you can see, its highest stat is base 85, so unless you're in the lower tiers, that's not really going to get you very much anywhere. But in its abilities, it has Prankster, which in my opinion is one of the best abilities in the game. What it does is it lets you get priority on anything that's not an attack. So, for those of you who don't know, speed priority is basically how quick attack works. You have +1 speed priority, so it goes before normal moves, even if the other opponent is faster than you. So basically you can go first using like Thunder Wave, Confuse Ray, weather moves, light screen, all that great stuff. And Volbeat actually has a lot of moves that it can use to its advantage. Its other abilities, Swarm, that's an okay move, but ability, but Volbeat doesn't have that great bulk to take advantage of Swarm. So honestly, I'd stay away from that one. And plus, it only boosts bug type moves. So where an item could help you, you could. I don't know. Swarm. I just wasn't feeling it for Volbeat. And Illuminate. Never use Illuminate unless it's an in-game team or you are brain dead, because it has no competitive use, as you can see right there. Now, the first set I have for you today is a Tail Glow set. Tail Glow is what makes Volbeat awesome, because Tail Glow boosts your special attack 3 stages, so that's 2.5 times what its original special attack is. So with full investment, with a modest nature, or whatever nature, I'm just gonna throw that there for testing it. But with a modest, or with a special attack boosting nature, you can have, holy crap, you can have 400. You can have 518 special attacks. So that is very good after one boost. But for this set, since you don't have very great speed, I'm going to give it a timid nature. But anyway, Glow is the move you want, is the most important move on this set, because it boosts your special attack. And even though your special attack's lower than your physical attack, that's what you want to use, because its special move pulls better, and because it has this great boosting move, which will always go first because of Prankster. So the attacks you want to use are Bug Buzz for stab, which does 90 damage, Giga Drain to get ground types, which resist your stab, plus you can also get water types. And then for the final slot, I said Thunderbolt, so you can get flying types, which are going to cause you a problem, but also there are some other options you could use if you don't like Thunderbolt or Giga Drain. You obviously want to use Bug Buzz, and preferably I'd say Giga Drain over Thunderbolt. But for the final slot, instead of Thunderbolt, you could use Charge Beam, because that boosts your special attack even more. You could use U-Turn just to get the heck out of there. Shadow Ball covers some of the other things that resist your stab move, including it can get. Okay, no, don't use Shadow Ball. Just forget that's there. But then you also have Dazzling Gleam, which can hit Dragon types, and it'll probably catch a Dragon type user off guard. And for the EVs, you want to go 252 into speed, 252 into special attack, and 4 into HP, just to get the best sweeping capabilities that you can get. And as for the item, I put Focus Sash, so you're guaranteed to get the Tail Glow boost. But also you could use a Life Orb, which basically what that does is it lowers your health by 10% each turn, but it boosts your attack by 1.3 times. So you can still switch between moves, and you obviously need the life. You can't use a choice item if you want to boost. So you use the Life Orb, and then you get the boost on all your attacks. But if you want to use the Focus Sash, which I would prefer, you have to have Rapid Spin support to get Stealth Rocks out of the way, because if you get hit by hazards, the Focus Sash basically becomes useless, and you're screwed to priority. So remove hazards and priority, and then you're good. The next set, which is probably the most popular set, is a Baton Passing set. Baton Pass passes your stat boosts to any person on your team that you want to switch into. So you need Tail Glow and Baton Pass. That's what you're going to be passing to your teammate, And then for the other two moves, you need some kind of support. You can use Encore to make your opponent use the last move they used, so you can keep them in that rather than getting taunted, which would be awesome. Which would be awful. And then you can also use Substitute. And substitutes are also affected by Baton Pass. So if you have the sub up and you Baton Pass, the next Pokemon will have a sub, which is pretty freaking cool if you ask me. But some other options for this set is you could do Parafusion just to make sure your opponent can't hit you while you're setting up, which is basically using Thunder Wave and Confuse Ray. And that will just make it so you're basically guaranteed to get the Tail Glow up. But it takes a little more setting up. So you could do Substitute and Thunder Wave instead of Substitute and Encore. And as for an ability, you want Prankster, obviously, because all of these are Prankster affected moves. And for the item, you want to do Leftovers. For its EVs, you want to do 252 into HP, 4 into Defense, and 252 into Special Defense with a Calm Nature. Now, Volbeat clearly, it has more special defense than physical defense, but if you really want to, you can switch the EVs around for defense and special defense. But personally, I'd say go put it all into special defense, because it has more resistances in special defense than defense. And even though it does have a 4 times fighting resistance, even with some HP investment, it only goes up to 192. And fighting is such a powerful type that you're probably still going to get 2-hit KO'd at best. You could get 1-hit KO'd very easily, especially since a lot of fighting types carry rock type moves. The next set I have for you is similar to the one I use on my Lantern, and Lantern is like one of my favorite walls of all time, so this is a pretty good set if you ask me. What you want to do with this set is paralyze them with Thunder Wave and confuse them with Confuse Ray. What's awesome about this is that you get priority on this, so you're guaranteed to get either one of these moves up. Then you want to use Roost to get yourself back up to full health, and Seismic Toss just as an attack. Now, instead of Seismic Toss, if you don't want to use any attacks, you could use... Oh wait, no, you cannot use Toxic because you're already paralyzed. But Seismic Toss is to do damage equal to your level. So if you're playing at level 100, every time you use Seismic Toss, it will do 100 damage to your opponent. And if you're playing at level 50, it will do 50 damage to your opponent each time you use it. So basically what you want to do with this is paralyze them so they can't move, and confuse them so they hit themselves. And basically what the Parafusion combo is good for is it makes it extremely hard for your opponent to move. There's a 50% chance of either happening that turn. So that means if your opponent doesn't get paralyzed, they're going to punch themselves in the face. And if they don't punch themselves in the face, they're probably going to get paralyzed. There's a very slim chance of them actually being able to do anything, which is why I love using that on Lantern. And then while your opponent basically can't do anything, they're either forced to switch, or you get to Seismic Toss the crap out of them until they are dead. And for this moveset, I'd say put 248 into HP, 8 into defense, and 252 into special defense with a Calm Nature. That way, you basically just soak up hits. And finally, here's some other support options. I didn't put an item here because it correlates to the first move. What you want to do for this set is set up Weather, and then there are other support moves. So if you use Sunny Day, you want to use a Heat Rock, and if you use Rainy Day, or Rain Dance, what am I talking about? you want to use the Damp Rock. But for other than the Weather Set move, you want to use Encore just to make sure your opponent uses the same move over and over again. And then U-Turn gets you out of there once you've set up. And Tailwind also boosts your team's speed by 2 stages for 5 turns, or 4 turns, which is awesome. Because stuff you normally wouldn't outspeed, you probably will outspeed. Pokemon that this works perfectly with is Breloom, who has a base 80 speed, but with Tailwind, it doubles the speed that it currently has. So you'll basically be able to sweep with stuff like that. And that basically concludes my video on Volbeat. If you like this video, please leave a comment, subscribe, and like, because that's really nice and it helps a lot. And then, if you want to battle me, just send a request through the comments or via my Twitter. And finally, if you like any of these movesets, feel free to send me videos of you using them, or just be like, yo, that set's awesome. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and have a wonderful day.